Hello my friends, I'm Rick and this is your seat at the table, and we're looking at a copy of Battle Technology issue 202, which costs $3.95, the magazine of combat in the 31st century. Like I said, this was an awesome set of material when it came out. I mean, modern day version, I think the closest thing you might come close to is Shrapnel, but Shrapnel is literary specifically. It's story based. So, you know, this here, I mean, everything down to the ads are all period pieces as if you were there. So the only authoritative news magazine covering the inner sphere, Battle Technology, is simply the best. Not since MechWarrior or Fortune magazine has there ever been such an informative and insightful forum. Battle Technology is valuable for every MechWarrior. Even the Dirtfoot can appreciate the tactical insights of the BattleTech Simulator in every issue. Captain Marble Luke Apprentice Drillmaster, the Pharaoh's own independent lowlanders. Battle Technology, don't lead your lance without it. Lieutenant Mike Stone, Technical Demonstration Expert, General Optics, Laser Weapons Division. Battle Technology is available from finer merchants throughout the Inner Sphere, from our publishing houses here on New Avalon and or from Battle Technology, Post Office Box, blah blah blah, Oakland, California, blah blah blah, right? Still, back issues still available. You could get issues 1 and 2 and issues 201, right? This was issued 2000, or is issued 3028, right? And so in this one here, we have BattleMechanics, and we'll go down and take a look at some of this stuff. So, new service, Dateline Tharkad. The impending marriage of Prince Hans Davion, the Federated Sons to Archon, designate Melissa Steiner, Lyra, and Commonwealth have raised the widespread speculations of the possibility of peace. Michael Fine, Duke of Arcturus, was quoted last week as saying the much talked about alliance between the two houses could be man's best hope of lasting peace. We've been balanced too long against the points of 5 drawn daggers, blah blah blah. Mystery blast ripped successor state capitals. Remnants of the local offices of Battle Technology magazine on Luthien. Similar destruction occurred simultaneously on Tharkad and Atreus. A coincidence. The Gala 28 plans announced. Special. That's all right. Don't mind us. We're just playing the war games and moving our crap around. Late special news bulletin. Wolf's Dragoons on the run. And we got Hiring Hall, the Dragon Slayers. Their history, campaign history, assessments, current situation, restrictions, ratings. Then we have a nice series on laser rifles, sidearms for BattleGear by Battle Technology staff. So we got the Starlight, the High Star, the Intech M48, the Koyo Koroska Model 2821 laser rifle, Torvid and Kosh TK94, and the Magna Mark 20 heavy laser rifle. And we got the Quartermaster. Warbots and Death Machines is the newest of the Starguard family of games, blah blah blah. BattleTips, Into the Valley of Death by Lieutenant John Lee. Yeah, nice story. Makes a good war game. Judge yourself and read the reviews. Hans Davion, first Prince of the Federated Sun. Why not be a war game recruiter? Let's see. Beginner's Guide to Strategy Gaming brings the novice with ease of style. It comes complete with a copy of the GDW and F&M introductory war game Battle for Moscow. Game Designers Workshop. Not to be confused with Game Workshop. Apparently I confused them and somebody got cheesed about it. Brandon Corey interviews Hans Davion, first Prince of the Federated Sons, conscious of a would-be king. Live on Live the World of BattleTech. Yeah, Max. Lieutenant Daryl F. James. I just finished our contract on Cases and I had a few days killed before lifting off planet. Pete's Place seemed like a good place to start. Sometimes I think there must be a factory someplace in manufacturing port town that dives like Pete's to spec. You know, the kind of place, dark, not overly clean, with neon ads on the walls, overpriced rock gutting the patrons, and from someplace overhead, music throbbing like a PPC thunder. Right. About Nice stories. Whole plan is coming apart as I listen. They had most of our company back there, cut off and surrounded. What are you going to do? Nuke them. The cavalry, tactics and applications for the new age. Always the thing that, one of the things that I take joy in, it took joy in when I was younger too, is I developed an understanding of tabletop war games, was the basic concepts of strategy. It's not enough to go, oh, well, this tank is this and this mech does that, but to understand the roles that they're really best suited for and applying them to their roles as best you can. More importantly, though, is to have that repertoire of knowledge when your opponent does the unexpected or throws your plan into the dumpster and sets it on fire, because then you can adapt on the fly, and that comes from experience and knowledge. So the more you read, the more you understand, the more you know. Be informed. There's a G.I. Joe kind of hacky way of... Yeah, I hacked that G.I. Joe thing up. Live the worlds of BattleTech, cavalry maneuvers. Then we get into the technical readout. Now, there's some interesting things about this. This is the BNC 3S Banshee S. It's not the Banshee or the stats or the entry that's so interesting, and yet it is. So, apparently, we have a whole series of mech designs specifically, with fighters and fighters and vehicles and so on and so forth, that are non-canon. Even though they're introduced in publications produced by the very companies that produce the game material. So this is a facet game product. This battle technology is actually a game supplement. It's no more or no less than any source book that's created. It's just that sort of thing. And everything in here should be useful or tieable into the current age of that time under that flagship banner. So under FASA's rules, for example. And yet at some point, someday down the road, has flip-flopped a couple of times on the idea. But in truth, there's an argument or an official claim that anything produced in things like Battle Technologies, Stardate Magazine, MechForce, other publications aside from actual trade technical readouts or direct game sourcebook material are considered non-canonical, which means they're not official. The mechs that never were canon. Right? And yet they're still there. They still didn't go away. And in truth, a lot of them, or in some variation therefore, is brought forward into the canonical realm. The Banshee was always canonical because it was in the original TRL, the 3025. This was just a slightly updated version for how Steiner's update. So in theory, it could still be applied. The basic mechanics, the rules, everything in here is still applicable. It's just you would need to tweak them for the modern current rule set that you're using. But there's no reason to say that this variant couldn't exist, because the imbalances or things that are quirky. Now apparently there's rules for that. But I thought that was an interesting change. I mean, this thing here is packing an AC-10, 2 PPCs, an SRM-6, and 4 medium lasers, and 2 small lasers. Now we have the CGR-SB Challenger. The Banshee and the Challenger, they almost look like they're cousins in some weird ways. Then we got the BattleTech Simulator. Lasers, bigger, biggest, and bigger, bigger, and biggest. Blah. So we got lasers compared, hand lasers, laser rifles, and BattleMech mounted lasers. And range combat laser rifle update here. Cavalry vehicles. So we have the Whirlwind, the Harrier, strike at Wittengate, cavalry raid on Harpster. Situation midnight, August 16, 3027. Wittengate, Harpster. Flash at Port Royal. The Battle of Harmony Pass. Dragon Slayers on guard. Letters to the Editor, The Golden Medusas. This was a series that it was Interceptor and Renegade Legion. There was 2 or 3 different tracks. One was aerospace geared, and the other one was ground-based, produced by FASA as well, of course. And I don't know why I never bought them. I never bought into them, considering I bought just about everything else FASA produced. I never bought into these, and I don't know if it's because they just never came to the bookstore at the time. If it didn't show up at Ivers, obviously I didn't buy it because we didn't have the internet. I say that often, and we just didn't. You couldn't go online and Google it and then order it from Amazon or 100 other game stores around the country that might have a copy sitting around. So, I mean, it just was what it was. So we have Letters to the Editor, One Ads, and we got coming in action-packed issue of Battle Technology, Celestial Wisdom from Maximilian Liao, Liao as Solaris, Howl of the North Wind. Veteran MechWarrior, the famed Northwind Highlanders, tells his brush with death and the First Lancers. World Book Mira, plus other features including regular columns, battle simulation, news from the inner spheres, and much, much more. Don't miss it. All right, Blood and Steel, Renegade Legion Centurion. The Centurion's the ground version, and Interceptor's the space version. So, like I said, I was lucky enough that one of y'all had a couple PDFs of some Battle Technology issues that I no longer own, and so obviously this is one of them, and I printed it out. And hey, these are beautiful time pieces from another bygone era of BattleTech, and if you can get your hands on these things, if you do a Google search for PDFs, some of these will crop up. I've read something on Reddit or one of these posts that popped up when I was doing a Google search the other day, that there are a number of the issues of Battle Technology and Stardate that never got copied. Now, most of these PDFs exist, like this one now, are not totally official. And my understanding is that, somebody like you or I took their magazine and scanned the damn thing and turned it into a PDF and uploaded it. Because, it was not that many years ago that we didn't digitally save everything. There was a time when everything was literally physically done, or bits and pieces stored here and there on crappy computer systems by today's standards. Is what it is. Anyway, you guys have yourself a great weekend. It is Saturday, the 24th, I believe, and June is coming up to the last week of June. 4th of July is another week or so, and I'm planning personally taking 4 days off from work. I didn't tell them at the office already, and taking Friday through the 4th off, because working on a day and then having a day off right after it because of a holiday, it always felt stupid to me. And I got some other things I want to get done out here, but I got a couple bushes that are growing insane. They should have been trimmed twice now already, but I haven't had the time or the energy or gumption to do it. I started trimming some shit along the fence line yesterday, but it's hot and humid as all get out there. And we also had a nice blowout on my lawn tractor tire. Picked up a piece of wire about half an inch long, and it punctured a hole through it. And these tires are 30 odd years old. They are really old. They're the originals. And I put a tube in that tire last year, and I weighed the price difference, about $170 to put a brand new tire on that tractor and the lawn tractor, versus a $56 total. I think it would have been to put a new tube in it. Well, that would have been its second tube, and that would have been about the third the price of a new tire. And the tires are shit. I mean, I'm hoping the rider will hold up for another year or two. I mean, I really need it to, because the damn furnace kind of screwed me this year. But in that case, that Kubota was bought by a fellow who lived across the street from my parents, and he bought it and used it for 1 year. He was a retired truck driver, and was decided to set himself up a little mowing business and to keep himself busy in the summertime. So he bought that thing and used it, and then he bought a big pivot mower when they first started becoming reasonably affordable, and sold the Kubota to my dad, and so my dad was the second owner, and until he died. He kept it in the garage when he wasn't using it, so it was in good shape, and he maintained it. Then when he died, my cousins are stupid, and my mom didn't chase him down, but they basically left it outside the garage for almost 9 years. No matter what I said, nobody ever listens to me. Well, eventually I ended up with it, and I had it overhauled in summer of 19, or spring of 19, after we first moved in. I had it hauled up that spring and dropped about $500 worth of work into it. But now it needing more work. It's got a quirk or two. It's trouble. Even no matter, I put a new battery in it, it still needs to be on a battery charger to get it to jump. And I think it's either the starter, the solenoid, or something's going out. And I don't think if there is an alternator or generator on this thing, I don't think it's working very well. It's just my opinion. Hey, that's enough about me and my damn tractor. We're just gonna say, hey, you guys have a great weekend. Because you know you want the cat girls to exist.